مسرور يا بحر الهدى أرض التقى والنور جئناك نبغي بيعة نمضي بها للنور.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear viewers, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you. It's exciting to once again welcome you to another interesting episode of your favorite program, Domestic Issues and Their Solutions. Of course, it is a platform where we review this book, Domestic Issues and Their Solutions. It compiles the pronouncements, blessed guidance, and inspiring advice of His Holiness Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad. May Allah be his helper, the worldwide head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, dealing with issues and challenges that married couples are facing across the world and providing viable solution to them based on Islamic teachings and guidance. As usual, joining me to review the book is Mr. Abbas Iromini Sahib. He is the General Secretary of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community in Nigeria and also working with the Federal University, Oye Ekiti, in Nigeria. Mr. Abbas Sahib, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Mashallah, it's always feeling great to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Alhamdulillah. Mashallah, dear viewers, you can always have a copy of this book, if you don't have, by visiting www.alislam.org as it is being displayed on the screen, and get a copy downloaded so as to follow every bit of this review and get the best thereof. Mr. Basaib.
Yes, please.
Let's set the ball rolling.
Yes, we are now on chapter 4. That's page 48 of the book. And the title of this chapter 4 is Societal Role of Husband and Wife. Here, it was an address delivered to the ladies, Al Jazz Salana, 2004.
That is annual
convention of the Jamaat
at Holland.
And it's only said, today I shall draw the attention of ladies here to a few matters. Just as Islam has drawn the attention of men towards discharging their rights and obligations, it has also drawn the attention of women to their rights and obligations. This is because in society, particularly in an Islamic society, men and women have specific roles to play. The next generation is brought up in the laps of mothers, and they also play a big role in making or ruining nations. The Prophet Messiah, on whom be peace, that is the founder of Jamaat Ahmadiyya, said, I have spoken openly and clearly about the rights and obligations of women and has drawn attention in light of the teaching of the Holy Quran to abide by righteousness and bring up children according to the beautiful teaching of Islam. Literally, when one looks at the topic, one is likely to misconceive it. Societal role of husband and wife. You want to probably think, okay, the role that the husband should be playing in the society, the role that the wife should play in this, but no. Look at the dimension. It's the product that our household is contributing, is pushing to the society. If every household is able, just like he rightly said, the next generation is brought up in the laps of mothers, and they also play a big role in making or ruining nations. If our mothers, having understood perfectly their roles at home, and they are able to bring up righteous children, spiritually inclined children, children that are role models, children that will go out and be change agents in the society, not disruptive type of children. This is the dimension His Holiness is bringing our attention to. That mothers in whose laps future generation is brought up, let them do it well. Particularly, what are we saying? Mothers should be able to give good example. Shouldn't be mothers who will be saying things that Islam does not allow to be said when your children or your child is on your lap. Quran is there. Tilawatul Quran is there. Adhkar is there. Your salat is there. Things you say that will impact positively in the life of that child is what should be said. And when you keep up this child is learning. It's been said by psychologists that the first school a child attends is that school at the lap of the mother. So if the child is well educated and he knows that, oh, I am a spiritual child, I am supposed to be a role model, I'm to contribute positively to the society, I'm not to be a disruptive agent. When that household produces a child and that child goes to the society, of course, he will have contributed positively to the making of that nation and not to its being ruined. So this is a beautiful masterpiece stroke coming from His Holiness.
Mashallah, may Allah the Almighty be His helper. And the world is listening, watching, viewing this and listening, getting the message directly. And what remains is for us to practice, because this is a very key issue that has to be addressed to set things right in many homes, because that is the smallest unit of the society. Many homes, come together to make a society. And so whatever happens at that unit affects absolutely. So His Holiness said, if women were to understand this responsibility, then an Ahmadi society would continue to be elegant. And this effect will not be limited to your homes. It will not be limited to the Jamaat. In fact, its effect will be evident outside our homes as well. Its effect will traverse the sphere of the Jamaat and will be evident in the wider society, in every seat, in every street, city, and every country. This is absolutely the reality. This is the reality. When you were taking the first excerpt from the book, which you've just analyzed, you mentioned that mothers are the teachers of children, and the children, the kind of children they produce, it is what we either make or ruin the society. The nation, as it is said here, is absolutely true. I remember a few years ago the instance of, there were two children just in primary school. In fact, they were in nursery school, and both of them, a male and a female, they were engaging in the sexual acts. I mean, they were romanticizing themselves, and the school authority got to know of it, and they called the parents that this is what your children were doing. The parents, they were mad on phone. They were blaming the school, that how could you people have exposed my children to this kind of thing. The school, they were very diplomatic, and they said the mother should come down so that it can be addressed gentlemanly, because they have investigated the two children, and one of them had told the authority how she, as little as she was, she came to know of that kind of thing. So when the mother came down, and she was, talking, raising voice, and eventually, when the daughter was asked that, tell us how you came to know about all this. And the daughter said she got to know of it through watching the handset of his mother, her mother. So the mother was extremely, she was not just shocked, she was extremely, she felt a sort of disgrace because she had been,
she had blamed the school.
But
she had not blamed herself.
The daughter has learned all this from her.
Yes.
So that is the central message here. His Holiness is saying that the mother, they are the trainers of the next generation. So they can either make or ruin the nation by the kind of education they are passing to them. So it's a very powerful message for couples to ensure that they play roles in the society. And this is what it means.
Exactly. And he now goes on to say that we can only succeed in the revolutionary change that the promised Messiah, on whom be peace, wanted to instill in us. And we can only succeed in spreading the beautiful teaching of Islam in the world, with which Allah the Exalted sent the promised Messiah, on whom be peace. And we will only be able to embed the banner of Islam in the world, and as soon as possible, bring the entire world under the banner of the Holy Prophet, peace and peace of Allah be on him. When the Ahmadi woman understands her responsibility, her status, and her duties, and tries to play her role in this regard, it is self-explanatory, my brother.
Absolutely.
Because the thing is, should wives be competing with their husbands who has a different specific role to play outside the home? Or they should rather stay and ensure that quality training is given to the future generation? And just like he has said here, if an Ahmadi woman understands her responsibility at home, of course, that is where society begins from. Microcosm, they call it. This is only, again, like just a reminder for dhakir, فَإِنَّ الذِّكْرَ تَنْفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Our sisters, our mothers, our wives should understand what their roles are. If this understanding takes place, it is the beginning of a good future for the nation. They should not abandon their roles and rather be looking for, shall I say, what is not lost. So this is a very plain message.
MashaAllah. This is a very plain message from His Holiness Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad. Dear viewers, if you are just joining us, this is Domestic Issues and Their Solutions, a program where we review this book written on this subject, exploring various guidance, inspired advice as contained in the book for the benefit of you all and of all of us, so that we can be rightly guided in issues and challenges we are facing in our marriages, and so that we can experience true peace and happiness at home and extend this to the larger society. Absolutely, we still have more to explore and to benefit from this book as we go on the show today. Mr. Basahib, when we looking at it further from the last paragraph in page 49, we have His Holiness declaring that, as I explained in my sermon yesterday, that is during the national conference at Germany, it is important to follow every stage of attaining divine nearness while staying firm on righteousness and with fear of God instilled in our heart. Each one of these stages should be followed, each commandment observed. Then alone can spiritual success be attained, and one can become recipient of heavens. I enumerated those commandments yesterday. The first of them is to observe Salat with a fear of God and with humility. A whole lot of guidance, points of guidance are loaded here. And of course, they are self-explanatory. And he said that there are stages of righteousness. But we must tread each and every one of them. Altogether, they are all needed to shape our marital life and destiny. And each commandment must be observed. He said of all these, these commandments, these stages of righteousness, he pointed out the observance of Salat with the fear of God and with humility as the level that we must begin with, because everything begins with connection with God and ends also with it. So it's so powerful. We have to spiritualize our homes. It should be homes of believers who are recipients of divine blessings. But how do we get there? It is by spiritualizing. And when we say spiritualizing, we mean that we should establish prayer at home. Father, mother, and their children observe prayer, recite the Holy Quran to get the message of God, both the Arabic text and their meaning, so that we get exactly what God is, the message is passing to us. And, doing other acts of ibadat, worshiping God, that can set a spiritual home, even at the physical level, so that, as he said that here, that so that one can become recipient of heavens, heavens on earth. It's absolutely imperative.
That's just it. His Holiness dug deeper. We are used to this, where he said, observe Salat with the fear of God and humility. He went further ahead to say, supplicate Allah the Exalted while being mindful that you are before God, and seek from Him. Seek for yourself, for your husband, and your children. O Allah, you alone can keep us firm on virtues. Enable us to worship you, O Allah. Make us, our children, and our husbands steadfast on these virtues. It is stated regarding offering Salat that when you submit before Allah the Exalted, show humility. This humility will be generated with the awareness that one is standing before Allah the Exalted. That is the comportment expected of us when we stand before Almighty Allah. And the type of prayer that we should say. Here, His Holiness has not talked about you asking for worldly materials. You want to build houses. You want to buy cars. You want to wear the latest rings and things like that. But praying yourself, for your man, your husband, and for those that Almighty Allah has blessed you with, those children, for you to be able to stay firm on His course and be able to live a pious and righteous life. This is just the foundation of success here in this world and in the hereafter. And if family, especially parents, will actually uphold this aspect of praying in this way, not focusing on worldly materials, their life will just be as if they are in paradise.
Absolutely, Mr. Basai, because one can build house and furnishes it with a lot of
gold,
amenities and so on. But there can be beautiful bed, placed bed, but sleep may not come when you are troubled by the vicissitudes of life, challenges of life, even within the home.
Sure.
It can turn to a burning home, fire burning, fire of commotions. There are riches, evidence of riches within the home, affluence, of course, but that does not bring happiness, true happiness. And so, what's to be prayed for is what His Holiness has highlighted here, and recorded in Surah Ibrahim. He prayed that Rabbi Ja'alni Mukima Salati wa min dhurriyyati Rabbana wa taqabbal du'a, and so on. That, oh Allah, make me to be observant of Salat, and as well as my children. So that is the way to go. Let us achieve God first, then other things will come, because God is the owner of everything we want. And so, but if we focus on, oh, my children must attain this, my wife must pursue this, I must, achieve this and that, then you get them, but you don't get happiness. So what is the essence of it all? I think it is very key that His Holiness has directed our attention to how we should pray, because many people are praying, but not everyone knows how to pray. And
true.
so it's very it's very germane that His Holiness has directed us that it was
Guided us.
how we should pray as husbands and as wives and as children, establishing a holy home. That's what it's all. Taking it further, His Holiness, may Allah be his helper, goes further to quote a hadith. He said, a hadith relates that if one cannot have the awareness of seeing Allah the Exalted or being before Allah the Exalted, then at least one should have the awareness that Allah the Exalted is watching one. Then alone can humility be generated. One is also able to concentrate in worship when different kinds of idle and absurd matters are avoided. Effort should be made in this regard, as well as prayers should be made during Salat, that, oh Allah, save us, our children, and our husbands from these absurdities. Absurdities that people are entangled with within the homes, things that are unnecessary, things that are superficial, not spiritual, things that are immoral, not moral, things that are not realistic. They are just vain pursuits, should be discarded. These are absurdities. We should focus on realities. And to focus on that is to pray in this manner. Absolutely, this is a profound guidance from His Holiness.
Alhamdulillah for this review, you understand? His Holiness has now gone further to explain the absurdities where you stopped. And he said, as regards the absurdities, Uzur Anwar said, usually it is women who have the habit to sit and chat about absurd matters. Although men also do this, this should be avoided in any case. For example, commenting that so and so has such and such clothes, so and so has such and such home, children of so and so have these bad habits, so and so husband and wife have such and such relationship. All this is purposeless and absurd. If these comments happen to be factual, then one must pray for the people concerned and seek help from Allah, the Exalted, to make things better for them with the compassion one has for one's brothers and sisters, and pray for their ills and weaknesses to be removed. This is yet another dimension.
Absolutely, Mr.
You don't
Abbas.
gossip. You don't gossip about people. Things that are doing, you feel they are doing. That is not what you should be concerned with. If you truly, really, really love them, His Holiness said, go and pray for them. If truly those things are as you have perceived them, all you need to do is pray for them and not gossip and further commit sins against yourself.
Absolutely. Mashallah. And he also, went further to say that, however, if the people about whom these comments are made are not as it is being said, and it is mere gossip, mongering, then it is sinful. The status given to women in Islam, or the status that is expected of her, demands that every woman, especially every Ahmadi woman, avoids such absurd, purposeless, and sinful thought. How many hours do we have in a day to spend at home that we spend hours out of the hours engaging in frivolities, absurdities? I think that is the direction which His Holiness is pointing at, that we have to discard such kind of absurdities and focus on things that are beneficial, much more beneficial to ourselves, our husbands, and our children, especially in an age of social media, where with your handsets you can stay for hours, following all those things. If you don't mind, then before you know it, you have wasted the whole days. And you see women, of course, even some men as well, watching homemade movies, spending hours, wasting their times. These are the absurdities.
Sometimes they miss prayers.
Of course, absolutely. So they also lose touch with spirituality that is intended for the homes, because they are exposed to things that are just make-believe. They are not reality. Whatever they watch on social media, whatever is being projected there or on homemade home videos, they are make-believe. They don't represent reality.
Conjured by people, imagination.
Yeah, they don't represent realities.
Exactly.
And when you are not beginning to bring home those things, having watched them on videos, you are now requesting your husband, oh, we must get this. Such and such family, they have this.
They have it.
This and these children are going to so and so schools. Our children should be going. No. You have, Quran says that لِيُنْفِقُ ذُو سَعَةٍ مِنْ سَعَتِهِ وَمَنْ قُدِرَ عَلَيْهِ رِزْقُهُ فَلْيُنْفِقْ مِمَّا آتَاهُ اللَّهُ. Those possessing wealth should spend on the level, the standard of their wealth upon their families. وَمَنْ قُدِرَ عَلَيْهِ رِزْقُهُ, and such one whose provision is straitened, is not worthy. فَلْيُنْفِقْ مِمَّا آتَاهُ اللَّهُ, should spend in accordance with what God has provided. So all wives should not be exposed to things on social media and be bringing demand, come home that husband, you have to provide this and that, because these are the things many people are facing in many homes. And there is no balance, there is no harmony, there is no peace, there is no happiness. Alhamdulillah, it has been great on the show today, highlighting various aspects of this book, bringing out the blessed guidance and inspiring advice of His Holiness. Jazakallah khairan for always coming on the show to share your insightful review, Mr. Abbas Saib. Dear viewers, it has been a great time on the show today as we explored various aspects of these profound books, bringing out the profound and inspiring guidance of His Holiness Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad. May Allah be his helper, who is the worldwide head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. Of course, time would not permit us to go much more beyond this level on the show. However, you always have the chance to connect with us with your question and comments via africa@mta.tv. Until next time, when domestic issues and their solutions will be coming your way by the grace of Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
أنت الذي حزت الرضا، أنت المزكي للورى، قدنا إلى نبع الصفا من بيتك المعمور.